Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today in this classic review, we're going to take a look at the first leader of G.I. Joe, and that is G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, Colonel Hawk. He came with the HMS. We're going to take a look at this guy. I will first off start by saying, hey, you know what? He is not wearing his proper helmet. This is actually Short Fuse's helmet. He's one of the figures that I don't have a helmet, and obviously the 3D visor. Now you may ask, hey, I've watched some of your reviews and I'm wondering, why do you bother showing off the backpack from Zap with Short Fuse or taking off one of the helmets? It's just because maybe you've only watching this. Maybe you've just caught this and you're like, why wouldn't you show the helmet? Well, I'm trying to show off everything that I can that I have with these figures. And well, even though it's not the exact same color, it's the same helmet, the same visor, the same backpack, stuff like that. So anyway, I just realized, also looking at this figure, not just now, but a few minutes ago, I could never remember what the first two vehicles I got. I remember I got the Vamp, and I couldn't remember if it was the HAL or the HMS. And it was just now that I was like, I've never changed my Hawk. I've never got a new Hawk. It's always been Colonel Hawk because he really didn't get played with all that much. This is my original. And he's swivel arm battle grip. He's got the swivel arm, which means that the HAL, because I got it right at the beginning, the HAL was also the vehicle that I got. So it just dawned on me, and I guess I figured I'd tell that little bit of story. Anyway, here he is. We're going to take a look at him, go over his detail. It's funny because this figure and the next figure, which are the last figures, all have the exact same face sculpt. They just paint it different, and we never cared because we were kids playing with our toys. So anyway, you've listened to me ramble on and give stories long enough. Let's take a look at this figure. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you like these reviews, you like going back in time and enjoying your childhood, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, then hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an O-Ring, a Real American Hero Classic video. Alright, here we have Colonel Hawk, the first and, in my opinion, the only leader of G.I. Joe. So here we are, and again, we are back to looking at so many of the exact same face sculpts, but we'll quickly take a look at his helmet. Now, this is not his helmet, okay? This is one that I actually pulled off a Short Fuse, because you can see it's a little bit of a different color, but all the helmets were the same, and same with the visor. So we're going to quickly pop this off so we can take a look at it. And I always put these visors upside down. Now, again, this is a 3D printed one, just so if anyone is wondering. It has a nice little lip, and there's a lip on the visor, and it's supposed to stop right there. I always flipped it upside down because I felt it just went into position a little bit better. I'm taking this thing off. All right, so looking at it here, you can see the little hole where this or Steeler's visor or any other visor that they end up using. It's got the earpiece right here, not earpiece, but the part that kind of protrudes out for the earpiece. All the helmets were the same, and again, there was only, I think, 3 different head sculpts. I'd have to go quickly look at them again. But it does fit really nicely, unlike a lot of other helmets that we've seen in lines throughout time. All right, so quickly looking at our Colonel Hawk. Again, he's not general yet. He is blonde, very, very blonde, as you can see, with some lighter brown eyes than what we saw with Short Fuse. As for his, oh yeah, so quickly, I feel like I've shown this so many times. I'll be happy when I get to series 2. But when you look at the hair, you can tell they tried putting some detail in it so it looked like it had some sort of fluent motion to it. Again, nose, lips, everything looks really good, and the eyes just had the one little dot there. And then you just had the, underneath it was always a little bit painted. It does give the character some facial look. And again, we all knew that they were the same, but I don't think any of us cared as kids. As for the torso, this is probably my favorite torso that we get throughout the line, as we get through Series 1. I love the pineapple grenade that you can see molded on, and then he has a knife right here. You can see that he is worn. This is my original Hawk. So as we kind of take a look here, you can see the way that the straps are going to go over, suspenders, whatever you want to call them. It has the Y strap, but on the top, having these little cuffs or whatever they're called folded over that's going to keep it in place. That is just amazing detail that I know I never saw, I never looked at, I never noticed like that. All right, as for the knife, it is upside down. It is extremely small, but again, for kids, I remember imagining they pulled the knife off, we pulled the grenade off, doing stuff like that. Two little pouches on his bicep, and you got this, it looks more like a turtleneck, right? You can see the detail that they put in here, along with the cuffs down around his arms, around his hands. Look how worn he is. Looks like he's been punching something and the paint's just coming off. All right, as for the waist here, you got the new school. This was the Series 1.5 Hasbro symbol. This little house with the H in the back, and as I've always mentioned, they have little belt loops, so it's going to hold it in place, although they forgot to put them in the front. Good job, guys. Good job. There you got some pouches onto his legs. All right, and again, this is the same thing. I don't think this is just a regular pouch. I believe that's supposed to have something in there. I would love to know a military historian. Maybe they know exactly what was supposed to be in there. As for the boots, I kind of mentioned it before. I think these are supposed to kind of be clamps that are kind of holding the boots together like a snowboard or a ski boot, right? But all in all, a nice looking figure. Again, nice black there. I love the look. Now you have the OD green. Again, a lot of green within this series. One camouflage. We have black and white. And then we have obviously Scarlet, who is wearing a leotard for the most part. But there you go. That is your Colonel Hawk, your first and real leader of G.I. Joe. And again, he eventually becomes a general and dyes his hair brown. All right. I don't think there's too much more to say. He does not come with a weapon. And I do talk about that later on, or I will talk about that later on when I get to Steeler. Steeler was the only driver in this series to have a weapon. But all in all, there you go. Colonel Hawk doing his thing, leading the G.I. Joe, my original one that I had as a kid. All right, so there you go. That is the first field commander for G.I. Joe, Colonel Hawk. I always liked him, and I always did make him the leader. He just didn't get as much play as the other figures. But, you know, my dad was in the military, and he wasn't like a military liceman. He served for 4 years in the Navy. But I learned to read ranks, and maybe I didn't read them absolutely properly, but I knew what an 06 was, and that was a colonel. My dad had told me, so I knew that he was in charge. I'm trying to think, were there any officers in the original line other than him? I don't think there was any other officers. I also remember, I believe that the Cobra officer was an equivalent of an 03. I mean, we read those file cards a lot. I've forgotten a lot too over the years. But anyway, this was this guy. Again, I was very transparent. This is not his original helmet, and this is a 3D printed visor. But hey, this is for my display. I'm not looking to sell these figures and make a buck. I'm looking just to talk about them, and it's nice to go back in time and just relive your childhood. Just if it's 10 minutes, just to take away and say, you know what? I got away from the bills. I got away from the wife. I got away from the kids. I got away from the dog that you might be able to hear shaking at the door. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Please take a second. You stayed this long. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. And hit that bell notification if you haven't so far. Now I'm going to get out of here. But you're like, dude, this is so much fun. I love reliving my childhood. I'm like, you're damn right it is. Right here, I'm going to drop the short fuse video. And down here will be a playlist of all the classic reviews of O-rings that I've done.